It has just gone 8 o'clock Central African time. Good evening and welcome to the news bulletin at 8, brought to you by Eswatini TV. My name is Sanebo Ngwan alongside Nomakabiso Ngambule. Thank you so much for choosing to stay with us. We're coming to you live from our Hospital Hill studios in Mbabane, and these are our top stories tonight. His Majesty King Mswati III has officially launched the Central Bank of Eswatini's Currency Museum. The Ministry of Education and Training will draft an outlining of its school's opening plan. And the Minister of Health, Nkosi, has officially opened the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, which is equipped with around 6 million worth of equipment donated by the United Kingdom and UNICEF. And now the news in detail. His Majesty King Mswati III has officially launched the Central Bank of Eswatini's Currency Museum. His Majesty, who was represented by the Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini, says documenting the history of the country's currency will be of benefit to future generations and visitors who will gain deeper appreciation of the rich history depicted in Eswatini's banknotes and coins. Now, the launch was held at the Central Bank of Eswatini in Mbabane. Our reporter Nelson Langamanda has more on that story.
His Majesty King Mswati III has commended the Central Bank of Eswatini for opening a currency museum. His Majesty was represented by the Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini during the launch held at the bank's premises in Mbabane.
The birth of a currency is rich and unique in its nature, as it depicts the country's pride that is symbolic in its cultural heritage and resources. What the Central Bank has done in investigating and documenting the history of our currency will be of benefit to future generations. Even our visitors to the kingdom will gain deeper appreciation of the kingdom's pride, the Lilangeni, and the rich history depicted by our banknotes and coins. I want to encourage all of you here to make use of the museum to learn about the evolution of our currency and share that knowledge with your children so that we do not lose knowledge of our cultural identity and pride as a nation. I also want to congratulate the governor and his team for a job well done. This collaborative effort, I must say, is very commendable and should be exemplary to other institutions who may want to document the history of the kingdom in their own different ways. The museum is indeed a treasure for the country and a reference point for many generations to come.
According to the Central Bank, Eswatini launched the national currency in Lilangeni as a legal tender in 1974. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Langamanda with Mbongwa Dube, Mbabane.
The Ministry of Education and Training will draft an outlining of its school's opening plan, and now the plan will then be tabled in Parliament for debate. This follows a motion moved by the Acting Minister of Education and Training, Harris Blunga, after the House moved that the ministry report in its readiness for the opening of schools.
Schools were closed last month due to violence and destruction of property in many of the education centers. Members of Parliament have since moved a motion calling on the Minister of Education and Training to table a report on her ministry's preparedness plan on schools opening. The motion has been moved by Togotweni Member of Parliament Mduduzi Makakula and seconded by Lomahasha MP Ndumiso Masimula.
Minister of Education ayivete ukuthi tikolo lesitibhadelwe obviously tikolo lesitibhadelwe free primary dingakhe lesisele titaba tiphelile nini kude tovulwa tikolo bantwana bahambe bayothola imfundo bafunze. Speaker kucela nje etiko kuthi asibambisane iParliament nayo ikhonela kona kumbambisa uhulumende inkinga lenjengalena speaker lethinza umntwana ithinza wonke umuntu lophila kulelive akusiyo indzaba lesingathi nje sitawuhlala noma sibuka nemehlweni noma sitawuhlala sikhomba nemehlweni ngeke kuside kodwa kungaba kahle ukuthi uhulumende abeke nje iplan lapha ukuthi hayi ngicabanga ukuthi mina singenta kanje sente kanje.
Acting Minister of Education and Training, Harris Bulunga, moved that the ministry be given time to compile the report and table it in Parliament.
Bengicela ke Mr Speaker ukuthi motion siyithathe selitiko seyisebenta njengoba kuceliwe siyilethe iplan mhlambe indlu seyingakhulumisa le plan lesitawubuya nayo ukuthi ihlaba kuphi iphasisa kuphi. Bengicela lokho Mr Speaker ukuthi siyimukele selitiko sambe seyisebenta sisubmit a report as bacelile abayishukumisa.
The House accepted the motion and gave the minister 7 days to table the report. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Fortune Dlangamandla and Muzi Mkonda, Parliament.
The Minister of Health, Liz Nkosi, has officially opened the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, which is equipped with around 6 million emalangeni worth of equipment donated by the United Kingdom and UNICEF. The minister says the unit will assist in significantly reducing the death of children below the age of 5 years in the country.
November is a month where the world commemorates World Premature Day. Minister of Health, Liz Nkosi, says the country is commemorating this day with the official opening of a neonatal intensive care unit in the Mbabane Government Hospital. The minister says although the country has made some achievements in reducing maternal and neonatal mortality rates, the rates are still too high.
Le mission ngisite kakhulu ngoba bekusibantwana ababelewa kusinaba labancane kakhulu bese basishiya. Kodwa la esibhedlela nyalo ngale mission lekhona bodokotela sebakhona sibantwana nje abantu babonelela abanye babo oxygen labanye bafidwa ngema tubes labanye vele bancane kakhulu safuna beke esifubeni senina ukuthi atokhona ukuthi agcine emtimbeni. So kusite kakhulu lokho siyakholela ukuthi naletinye tibhedlela nangabe nabona emakhaya nakhona khona bese kumikisa letinye tibhedlela titawuba nako.
British High Commissioner Simon Boyden explains what part they have played in assisting the Kingdom of Eswatini in reducing maternal and neonatal mortality rates.
This has been made possible with funding from UK aid, from the UK government, of around £1.5 million sterling, in addition with our colleagues UNICEF to provide equipment, training and the capacity for premature babies and other newborns with health complications to be looked after in a professional environment.
UNICEF country representative Amina Mohammed says they have already started seeing results of the new unit.
And now we understand that death that is preventable has been reduced by less than 5% compared to 26% before we had this facility. So
for Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela with Fortune Dlangamandla, Mbabane.
The Minister of Natural Resources and Energy, Peter Pembe, has officially launched the joint venture Basin Authorities Project Board, which will ensure that all Eswatini have equal access to water. And the minister said the project is funded by the Netherlands and the government of the Kingdom of Eswatini.
The Joint River Basin Authorities Project Board is under the Ministry of Natural Resources and Energy, and it is made of 5 RPS, which are Lomant, Komati, Mbuluz, Usuthu, as well as Ngwavuma. When launching the board, the minister says, among other things, the board is mandated to improve water management in the country. The minister says while harvesting enough water for Eswatini, the board will also ensure that neighboring countries still have access to enough water.
Futhi umsebenzi walo lomkhulu kubuka ukuthi phela lamanti siyahlephulelana nabo makhelwane kugatseke ukuthi asibe sesiwasebenzisa onke kutawufuneka ukuthi abe khona lamanye lendlulela kuba makhelwane bangabe bakhala ngathi ukuthi sesibancishe emanti ngoba emanti impilo yabo bonke abantu.
River Basin Authorities Project Board Chairperson Dr. Nhlongwane says the board will ensure that every Liswat using water will be known and how much are they consuming.
We have already installed databases which we now know who is where. And I was surprised, Honorable Minister, when I saw some of the softwares already operational. We don't have anyone now in hiding. We can see a person, we can identify you. And the good thing is that as we identify you as a water user, the system can assist us to notice that you are irrigating in this particular area. And we can almost estimate even how much water you are using there.
The River Basin Authorities Project Board is formed under Section 79 of the Water Act of 2003. By setting up the board, the country is trying to meet the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal number 6. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla with Tembinkosi Mavimbela Mbabane.
Spofane Member of Parliament Mtutuzi Smelane will know on Monday if he still qualifies to be a member of the August House. Now, the office of the Speaker is yet to count the number of sittings he has missed if they reached 20.
On Wednesday, when the House of Assembly was on session, some members of Parliament wanted to know from the Deputy Speaker Madala Mhlanga and the Attorney General Sifiso Khumalo if reports suggesting that after the sitting, Siphofaneni Member of Parliament will be disqualified. Mhlanga says he was not in a position to give an answer to the question as the office of the Speaker will have to count the number of sittings that similarly have missed. The Attorney General Sifiso Khumalo says the issue of Siphofaneni MP is being dealt by Section 98 of Eswatini Constitution. He further clarified that MP Similan has not been arrested, but only a warrant of arrest was issued against him.
And the effect of a warrant of arrest in Hlonishwa is that, or rather Hlonishwa, is that it authorizes, normally in Kandolo, keep an order, the authorizer would say, the Luma can be arrested or detained. It doesn't follow us already Selboshiwe and police. Listen, Jan Kazalo. The good thing is that is factual. Ngicabanga ukuthi leyo kubalwa liofisi lemcondzisi wendlu yeParliament, Mr. Speaker.
The Deputy Speaker also advised Hlambeni MP Manzizwane to follow proper procedures by writing a motion which seeks to drop charges preferred against Siphofaneni MP and other MPs. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla with Tembinkosi Mavimbela and Muzi Mkhonta, Parliament.
The Central Bank of Eswatini's Governor Majosi Sithole says Eswatini or Emaswati will be allowed to visit the currency museum, but will have to make appointments through the bank's communications office. The governor was speaking during the official opening of the museum by His Majesty King Mswati III, who was represented by the Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini.
The governor of the Central Bank of Eswatini, Majosi Sithole, says Emaswati should make use of the currency museum, which His Majesty King Mswati III launched through the Prime Minister Cleopas Dlamini.
The currency project was started in October 2019. Some of the work entailed in gathering data for museum involved digging through the bank's archives, including consultations with the National Archives, King Sobhuza II Memorial Park, and Umsamo. Various individuals also assisted with information and even some of the pictures displayed in the museum. The Currency Museum will be open to the public by appointment, and we encourage that interested parties and school children tour this heritage area free of charge. Appointments can be made via the bank's communication office. We have a number of 2408-2280.
The governor says they are open to more information on the country's currency history, so the public should contact them if they have contributions to make. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla with Mbongwa Dube Mbabane.
Select Management Services has donated about 200,000 worth of bed linen to the Ministry of Health. Accepting the donation at Hilton Garden Inn in Mbabane, the Deputy Director of Health Services, Rejoice Ngambule, says the linen will be distributed to different health facilities around the country.
The Chief Executive Officer of Select Management Services, Peggy Dlamini, says they decided to donate the bed linen worth about 200,000 emalangeni to government as a way to help in the fight against COVID-19.
We are delighted today at Select Limited to be offered this opportunity to donate 300 units of hospital bedding comforters.
The Deputy Director of Health Services, Rejoice Nkambule, says different health institutions will benefit from the donation.
We are here as a Ministry of Health to receive a donation from Select, a donation of blankets and linen targeted for our hospitals. They saw the need that, among other challenges that we had during COVID, is supplies, including supplies like linen. So they are meeting that gap, and we are very excited because we targeted that it will go to 5 hospitals, and particularly in the maternity wing, so that when we receive lives, new babies, they come into a very nice environment.
Select Management Services pledges its continuous support to government. For Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla with Fortune Dlangamandla, Babane.
The United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization says communities should be involved in climate change issues. Now, this is according to the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, Eswatini's Acting General Secretary Nelson Ndwandwe in an interview with Eswatini TV.
Yearly on the 10th of November, the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization commemorates the World Science Day for Peace and Development. This year's theme is Building Climate-Ready Communities. UNESCO Science Programs Officer Nelson Ndwandwe speaks about the importance of engaging communities on all issues of climate change.
We are encouraging a shift from the boardroom table conversation to a kitchen table conversation, whereby the communities are totally involved, are fully involved in addressing the issues of climate change, because they are the ones that needs to be prepared. They are the ones who have that skill, those skills, whether traditional knowledge or maybe some scientific knowledge. So they live in the communities. They feel they are the ones who are experiencing those impacts of climate change. So they need to be engaged. So we have seen the in climate change impacts in various aspects. Starting from we have seen more heat waves. Climate change can also cause severe fires, can also cause less rain, which then results to drought. It also causes more intensive storms, yes, like we have experienced as a country.
Ndwandwe says UNESCO always consult communities on policies of climate change. For Eswatini TV News, Fortune Dlangamandla with Thembinkosi Mavimbela Mbabane.
Countries attending the COP26 have pledged over $200 million for the adaptation fund. The figure was revealed by COP26 President Alok Sharma during a press conference held in Glasgow, Scotland. Sharma says this will go towards scaling up international climate finance.
We know that women and girls are disproportionately impacted by climate change, and we cannot allow equality to be a casualty of climate. But women and girls are also leading efforts to tackle climate change in communities around the world. And in the words of Brianna Ferran, they are not drowning, but fighting. And we must support those efforts. We must enable the full and meaningful participation of women and girls in climate action. So I'm very pleased to say that countries and other stakeholders have made announcements today to make climate action gender responsive. I'm also very pleased to report that yesterday countries collectively pledged in excess of $232 million to the Adaptation Fund, which will support countries to deal with the impact of a changing climate. Gender and inclusivity run throughout our COP program, including Science and Innovation Day. And I've always said that it is vital that we follow the facts and allow science to light the way. I'm going to turn now to the negotiations. I am encouraged by countries' commitments to anchor science at the heart of the cover decision. Yesterday, my lead negotiator, Archie Young, convened heads of delegations on the elements of the cover decision that we proposed in our non-paper. And as I announced at the informal stock-taking plenary yesterday, I have requested pairings of ministers to support the presidency in some of the key outstanding issues on which we need to reach agreement. These pairs started their work yesterday and are consulting with a wide group of ministers and negotiators. And then we convened yesterday evening and the ministerial pairs reported on their discussions. The time has now come to find political consensus on the areas of divergence, and we have only a few days left. New texts were also tabled on issues including common timeframes, transparency, finance, and adaptation. We are making progress at COP26, but we still have a mountain to climb over the next few days. And what has been collectively committed to goes some way, but certainly not all the way, to keeping 1.5 within reach.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at news making headlines in the world of sports. Mbabane Town Mayor Eswatini Nkambule says as a town, they take athletics very serious as it helps people live better and healthy lives. Now, the mayor was speaking when launching a half marathon to be known as the Mbabane Marathon. The sponsorship is worth 200,000 Malangeni.
After more than 2 years without any marathons in the country because of the coronavirus, athletes will finally get a chance to compete in the launched half marathon to be known as the Mbabane Marathon. During the launch of the half marathon, the mayor of the town, Eswatini Nkambule, delivering his speech, says the town is very much interested in athletics as it has proven that it helps improve the quality of lives.
Siwambisa mbili umdlalo wokugijima lesizimbabane marathon kungumdlalo lesibona ukuthi njengemidlalo lesawuqala ngeminyaka wa2017 kube sekuyenda ukuthi sisekele temidlalo bese bana umdlalo lesiphinde singena kuyona lesibuka ukuthi asiuqhube siukhangise.
President of the Athletics Association, Zakhele Dlamini, says athletics promote healthy living and the event seems ideal at the time after staying out for more than 2 years.
As a federation, we have been working very hard behind the scenes to bring back road running, and unfortunately, things couldn't permit. So today we are very excited to announce a beautiful partnership between Athletics Eswatini and the Mbabane City Council, through which it has been made possible to have the very first race after such a long time. It couldn't have been held anywhere else other than the beautiful capital city of the Kingdom of Eswatini. Our mission as a federation is to promote and encourage healthy living and physical fitness, and this event launched today fits very well to our mission statement as a federation.
The event will take place on the 27th of November and will be divided into 21 kilometers, 10 kilometers and 5 kilometers. And it will start and finish at the Prince of Wales in Mbabane. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports News, I am Patizum Msibi, Mbabane.
Former Mbabane Swallows and Denver Sundowns defenders Pamandla Matejwe says even if local players do not have football managers, however, it is important to have healthy relationships with other players from different countries, as that can create opportunities for them to be able to further their careers abroad. Matejwe currently plays in Nepal.
Players are struggling to get teams in more professional leagues around the world because many of them do not have representatives to set teams for them. Spamandla Mathenjwa from South Africa, who played his best football locally with Mbabane Swallows, has encouraged Eswatini players to not give up hope of playing outside the country just because they do not have agents. Mathenjwa, who last played for Denver Sundowns, is currently playing in Nepal, and he says having a healthy relationship with other players can open doors for you, and those who are playing CAF football stand a better chance of meeting influential players as well.
Kupossible ukuhamba uyodlala ngaphandle, uhambe uyodlala kwamanye amazwe overseas. Yabo, like ukwazana nabantu like nje, especially Eswatini ngizothanda encourage abajita ukuthi njengoba abanye nje most of the players bedlala iCAF, yabo kubalekile ukuthi mawudlala iCAF uhlangane nabanye abadlali, uthathe ama contact, nibe na good relationship nabanye abadlali, yabo. So njengami nje ngilana eNepal ngidlalela iSadobato, angihambanga ngeagent, bekuyi-connection nje yomunye umdlali ongaziyo. So yeah, that's why ngila. So abajita nabo ngiyaba-encourage ukuthi noma mabethiwa badlala kuphi abenze i-connection nabanye abadlali bangaphandle bisi. Look at me today, ngilana nge-connection, angikaze ngihambe nge-agent, angikaze ngihambe ngalutho.
Mathenjwa is playing for Sadobato club, who just got promoted to the Premier League of that country. Reporting for Eswatini TV, I am Patizo Msibi with Linda Dlamini Mbabane.
Well, that brings us to the conclusion of our news bulletin at 8 at Eswatini TV. But before we go, here's a quick reminder of our top stories tonight. His Majesty King Mswati III has officially launched the Central Bank of Eswatini's Currency Museum. The Ministry of Education and Training will draft an outlining of its school's opening plan. And the Minister of Health, Liz Nkosi, has officially opened the Neonatal Anti-Intensive Care Unit, which is equipped with around 6 million worth of equipment donated by the United Kingdom and UNICEF.
You've seen this? That's where he's down the weapons.